After a year of volatility in the real estate market here in Seattle, we are heading into the new year. Let's recap how we finished out last year and what we expect to happen with real estate in the Seattle area here in 2024. As always, I'm Bryce Greenleaf, your local real estate broker here in the greater Seattle area. I love helping you guys out, those of you that reach out to me here from YouTube when you're looking to buy a home in this area and or relocate here from out of state. So if that sounds like you, if you're looking to purchase a place and trying to find the right place to live, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help. But like I said, we're going to talk specifically about the real estate market. We're going to dive into the numbers today, dive into the stats to really see how we finished off 2023 and what 2023 looked like as a whole compared to some previous years, and try to gauge what's going to happen here in 2024. So if you're planning to buy or sell a home, you can be informed and kind of make the best decision for your situation. I've talked with a number of people here, or what day is it? January 9th, 9 days into the year. I've talked to a number of people here, specifically home sellers, that are kind of surprised to hear what's to come this year and really what we're seeing and building up to here in the spring. So let's jump into those things. But first, we're going to pull up some charts here. We're going to look at how we finished off 2023 and what it looked like as a whole. So let's jump into some charts here. All right, so on my screen here, you can see we've got the active listings for the last 5 years here. So 2023 here, right in blue. So you can see this trend line. It takes us a 6-month time period from July to December over the last 5 years. So in terms of the active inventory on the market, inventory has been a serious problem this year. You can see we fell right in the middle in that 5-year period range. Now you can see the trend line, of course, as we go through July and finish up the summer, and it starts to plummet. That's just the seasonality of this market. Now you look at how crazy 2021 was, only 605 active listings. And I'll mention this is King and Snohomish County combined for these numbers. So December 2021, that was an odd year because the real estate market was extremely active in December. Homes were coming on the market and flying off the shelf immediately. So that was an oddball year. But you can see here in 2023, about just under 1,700 active listings in the month of December. If we go over to the right side here, this is people often ask, like, why did home prices not plummet in 2023 when rates went up? With all the reduction in demand, why did prices not completely fall off like a lot of people predicted? I mentioned that 2023 was the year for everybody to predict the market was crashing, and heard it constantly. And it just wasn't the case, and we knew that wasn't going to happen. And the big number one reason why that didn't happen is right here. This shows us right here. We look at simple supply versus demand. Yes, we had a fall off in demand. We had an even larger fall off in supply. Look at the inventory numbers. So 2022 in red here. Now 2022 had low inventory as well compared to some of the other previous years and maybe a more normal market. So 2022, even with low inventory, you can see the numbers here. At the peak in the summertime, close to 5,000, 5,500 in active listings. And then you come over to 2023 and we just fell off like crazy. I mean, what was July here was 5,500. July in 2023 was 3,100. So we're talking over 2,000, 2,400 less homes on the market in July of 2023 than the previous year. So that's going to make a huge impact on the actual movement of prices and how much they can actually go down, because we still had enough demand to support the inventory that we did have. And that brings us down here to pending sales. So pending sales here, again on the left side, the last 5 years over a 6-month period. Pending sales 2021, 22, and 23 were all hovering in December right around the same point here, 1,500-ish pending sales in the month of December. Relatively common. So despite how this year has been, we're still really close to the previous years and how much activity was actually happening. Because despite rates, we've got 2023 right here. You can see the demand, the number of pending sales was lower for the entire year. Of course, yes, that's going to happen when rates go to 8%. But the inverse, the opposite of that when it comes to those inventory numbers kept that more steady, kept those prices steady. If we go to the right side here, you can just see that confirmed with the pending sales did drop off, but they stayed steady enough that we could still support those prices without the prices plummeting or falling much at all. Now, another stat to look at when it comes to this is the months of inventory. This shows us how quick things are moving. So months of inventory just means if no new homes came on the market, how long will it take us to sell out of the current inventory? It just shows us how quickly homes are moving. So for 2023 here, we've been around 2.5, 3 months of inventory, which has been higher than some of the previous years, like 2020 and 2021, where the market was absolutely insane and we had less than a month of inventory. You can see that there, 20 and 2021, how crazy those markets were because homes were coming on the market and gone so quickly. So 2023 here is a little bit more stable, was a little bit more friendly for buyers because homes were sitting on the market for a little bit longer. You can see that confirmed on the right side here. Again, red is 2022, blue is 2023. What's interesting here is to compare the 2 years. And while 2022 had better rates than 2023 did, we actually had a quicker moving market in 2023. So that still, again, supports the reason why home prices didn't plummet, because the demand was still there. The demand wasn't, insane. It wasn't, there was a lot of people that dropped out of the market, but there's always people that need to buy. And there were still people motivated to buy. They were taking advantage of rate buy down programs. So despite 2023 interest rates being higher than 2022, we did have a bit more movement and quicker movement in the market, specifically towards the end of 2022. You can really see, at the peak, the market here, early 2022, it was still nuts, and then it just slowed way down when rates started to move. And then people, started to get more comfortable and realizing that's where the rates were, taking advantage of rate buy down programs. So you can see from January to February, it really started to drop and then stayed pretty consistent through the entire year, with people still keeping comfortable with buying. Now, the last point we want to look at, the last stat here we want to look at, is the median price points. So again, all those previous stats were Snohomish and King County combined. Median price point, we'll look at them individually here. So you got 2023 here, of course, the highest when it comes to the home prices, because home prices go up every year, no matter what people told you to believe, that the market was going to crash and prices were going to plummet like crazy. You can see here, prices stayed very level. This is, again, from July to December. Prices stayed pretty level through this year. We had a little bit of a dip here. Again, this is the seasonality dip, November, December, that we're always used to seeing. You can see here most years. But those prices did not plummet. They did not go below previous year prices, other than one little blip in October where it was just under the 2022 prices. So stayed relatively consistent. Again, that's because of supply versus demand. You can see that confirmed over here. Pretty similar charts, 2022 to 2023 in King County. Let's just go to Snohomish County just to confirm that it looks the same. So we've got Snohomish County here. Okay, so you can see about the same trend. Relatively level through 2023 here. There's some points where it in 2022 cross over, and then again, pretty similar and pretty consistent through the entire year here between both years. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys and want to start to consider as we move into the discussion of what's going to happen in 2024 are the interest rates and where we're at. So, of course, we can see this climb in rates. This is on the left side of the screen, January of 2023 of this year here. So we could start, of course, we saw rates climb through the year, and we really hit the peak in October when they got to 8%. So mid-October. Since then, they have fallen. Interest rates came down for like 9 weeks in a row. You can really see the steep decline here. The Fed has come out and said, we're right around 6.6, 6.7 right now. The Fed has come out and said that they plan to reduce rates through next year. So just expect this trend to continue through 2023. Now, what does that mean for the real estate market here this year in 2024? And I think I said continue through 2023. 2024. What does that mean for this year coming up? And what are we going to expect in the real estate market? What I would expect is prices are going to start to escalate. Prices really plateaued last year. You had some ups, some downs, but they really didn't have a ton of movement in either direction in any of the counties around here. In 2024, I would expect to see a decent amount of upward movement in those median home prices for a couple of reasons. One, there's a lot of pent-up demand, a lot of buyers. Even though we had strong demand last year, there's still a lot of people that were sitting on the sidelines that decided to wait. When rates hit 8%, they said, I'm going to step back and going to wait and see what happens in 2024. With rates starting to come back down, a lot of people are starting to come out of the woodwork and buy again. I'm seeing that in my personal business with a lot of my buyers that decided to wait. A lot of them are gearing up to buy a home this year, and that's really going to explode in April. Another reason prices will rise and rise at a good amount, I think, is because those inventory numbers, I think, are still going to stay low. Yes, there are still a number of people that are going to get more comfortable with selling this year for the same reason people are going to be more comfortable buying, because there's always people buying and selling at the same time. There's also a lot of people that aren't going to sell because they refinanced when their home was when rates were 3%. So now they have a 3% interest rate on their house, and despite rates coming down, they're still around 6%. That's still double what they currently have, and so there's still a lot of people that are just going to stay put and wait to see what happens, that aren't in a rush to sell and buy a new place, that don't have to move. People that are having to move, relocate out of state, have a new job, they want to buy their first home. A lot of those people are going to be active in the market, but the people that kind of just want something different, or maybe would wish they had a little bit bigger of a home, or maybe wish they lived a couple cities over, a lot of those people that own a home are still going to hang on and wait because they don't want to give up that 3% rate. So it's going to keep inventory numbers low. And then with the reduction in interest rates, more buyers are coming out in the market. So just expect prices to be on the rise. Don't be surprised when the market gets a little crazy again here in 2024. Now, it's not going to be 2021 crazy. That was the craziest real estate market we'd probably ever seen, with 20 to 30% gains in annual home values. I don't expect that to happen, but it will be more active than we've seen in the last 18 months. It's going to be a much more active market. So just be prepared for that. If you're buying a home, get your ducks in a row, get prepared, get on the same page, find a great real estate agent to work with that can help you navigate through the process and is going to be able to get you a great house. And if you're a home seller, I've talked to a lot of people that are kind of on the sidelines. They're thinking about selling, and the interest rate isn't necessarily a big deal for them because they may not be buying another home. But they're thinking about getting rid of their home and maybe relocating out of the area, or they have a second home that they're going to. And when I talk to them and tell them this info on what's happening with rates and what's happening with the market this year, they're a little bit surprised. And so just be prepared that this is going to be a pretty active spring. And so it may be a decent time for you to be able to sell your home. I held an open house last weekend. It was the first weekend in January, I guess. It was the busiest open house that I'd been to since 2021. Buyers were coming in and out like crazy the entire time. And so it was a little bit of a shock, like, wow, people really are starting early this year. They are ready to go. They saw those rates come closer to 6.5, and they are back out hitting it, looking for homes again. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a busier market, so just be prepared for that, whether you're buying or selling. And again, like I mentioned, I'm an active real estate agent here in the greater Seattle area. So if you're looking to buy a home or sell a home here this year, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. Thanks for watching this one.